on Thursday. Number 25 overall pick. Aaron, we'll start with you. The priority should be what? Fill in that blank.
Offensive line, and offensive line. After that, you can look at wide receivers and defensive tackles and tight end, but you've got to work in the trenches, and it's got to get better there.
Sarge?
I have wide receiver, and I feel like that
with their first pick.
With their first pick, I think that they should go wide receiver. And I also believe that they should jump up to get a good wide receiver because they may not be there at 25. And with Nick Haley coming in, new offensive coordinator, get the ball out of CJ's hands fast enough, you don't have to protect them as much.
Before we get to O-line and some potential names, I want to follow up on your view. You want to go wide receiver at 25. Is Matthew Golden a guy that you like?
Oh, I did.
You like some others, and would they even be available at number 25?
Matthew Golden will not be available at 25. There's too many teams that is above the Houston Texans that want him.
Yeah, the offensive line is also across the board. Many people believe they should start with the O-line, perhaps, with number 25. Aaron, what are some names you're hearing of some potential guys that could be interested in, and maybe some guys that potentially could be standing there available at number 25?
Extremely interested in Tyler Booker and Kelvin Banks from Summer Creek University of Texas. However, both might be off the board. And I also agree with Sarge. Be aggressive and move for the offensive line that you want. If you do want to stand pat, because they call this a depth draft, and you have 3 picks in the first 89 selections, you would have Josh Conley Jr., you would have Donovan Jackson from Episcopal, and you could also have Gray Zabel.
All right, so we've covered the Nick Caserio. We know kind of how he operates. He does not like to just sit there and wait for their turn. You know, he's a mover and a shaker. You don't know if he's going to move up, move back. Sarge, you have a gut feeling on what his thinking might be.
So, before we spoke to Nick earlier this week, I thought I knew what he was going to do, but then he said something during the press conference where he says, you know, if we pick at 25 or if we pick somewhere later. Now I'm saying to myself, okay, so wait a minute, Nick, are you going to trade back to get more picks? Are you going to trade back to get more picks, or are you going to jump up? And with him, it's always 50-50. I will say this, the year that they drafted C.J. Stroud, we knew that they were going to get quarterback. We never knew that they were going to get Will Anderson Jr. with the move that he made that surprised everyone. And so I wouldn't be surprised if he jumped up, but I also wouldn't be surprised if he traded back.
All right, besides O-line, I'm in the O-line category. I think they need to start there, but you believe they need to start with wide receiver, Sarge. Beyond those 2 positions, what are other key positions that follow maybe those right there in Nelson Pittman?
You go there. You look at the defensive tackle spot, and a really good one in Kenneth Grant, the University of Michigan. They've spent a lot of time and energy. Alfred Collins from Texas. They had in Vernon Broughton, local guy, also Texas. They had in all the Aggies D-line, all those good players. They didn't do that just for their health. They're thinking about drafting a defensive lineman. Because I think Sheldon Rankins is on a 1-year deal basically here, and sort of nearing the end of his career. They're thinking about the future, and D-line is a good position to address.
He says D-line, I think you got another pick.
Oh, yeah, I think that you got to go running back because I don't know how many more years you're going to have with Joe Mixon running as effective as he is, being that Pro Bowl caliber running back that he is. And in this draft, there's a lot of good running backs in the draft. So it's time now to start wondering who are we going to replace Joe Mixon with.
Team-wise, coming off last season, how close is this team? I think they're a couple players away from taking that next step in the AFC. What do you guys think?
I think it's time to make this serious run, and that's why perhaps you're going for the quality, not the quantity. How many of these draft picks, not all of them are going to make the team? I think Nick was telling the truth on that one. He was very forthcoming. It is hard to make the squad. It's time. They've got to get better, and I think they say darn close.
They're in a win-now situation. They can't. They're not in a rebuild anymore. And D'Amico Ryans is a victim of his own success, winning the AFC South, winning the wild card game, and going to the divisional round. So he's a victim of his own success. They're in win-now mode, and so you got to get the additional pieces that you need to push forward to get to that first AFC Championship game.
All right, good stuff. Draft starts on Thursday. We can't wait. 3 days of madness in the NFL. It's going to be a good time. We'll see which direction GM Nick Caserio goes. As always, thanks to guys for coming in. Brian Big Sarge, Bearfield, you know where to find him. He's all over the map when it comes to Texans and other sports here in H-Town. Aaron Wilson, Cook2Houston.com. Guys, thanks for your time, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.